Alright guys, answered questions, unanswered questions. So we're making progress. So let's keep going. What was your least favorite playthrough to date? Like, to this day, the least favorite playthrough that I've had. I would think that it's between Kid Icarus Uprising and Tomb Raider. Both for the same kind of reasons, actually. Just the way that people complained in the comment section was just terrible. It really dampened... Callie, I'm recording! Anyway, just all the negative feedback because I was playing the way that I wanted to play. People were just terrible. There was an addition to that, though, in Kid Icarus Uprising, where not only were people complaining about the way that I was choosing to play, you know, like with sticking with one weapon, with sticking with a certain difficulty, but also the sense that people had to point out every time I missed an item, every time I missed something hidden, every time I didn't do something perfectly, people had to point it out, and it was really frustrating. So that, you know, had that negative thing over Tomb Raider. But Tomb Raider also had just like so little views, so little likes, and I know that I was, you know, that was when I was smaller, but I'm talking compared to other series I had going at the time alongside Tomb Raider. So those two games, I don't think I can pick between them. They were both, I liked the games personally, but Let's Playing them was just, it became a chore. I stopped looking at comments on those videos because I was just sick of it. So those would be my two least favorite Let's Plays so far. What was the first game you ever played for YouTube? That would be Slender the 8 Pages. I tried playing that. I think it had like 60 or so videos on that, and I never beat it. The closest I got, the 8th page was literally right in front of me, and then he turned me around and killed me, and I hate it because I was trying so hard. That's the closest I've gotten. I mean, I've gotten to 7 pages before, but that time it was right there. Like if I had taken another 1 or 2 steps closer and then clicked, I think I would have had it, and it made me so sad. But that was the first game I played. The first game that I played and beat was Limbo. So yeah, those are really old videos. If you go back to watch those, it's so different. I don't have a webcam. I don't sound as enthusiastic. Because, you know, you do kind of have to project a bit when you're recording. I've learned that. And I had a worse microphone. So it's a big difference, but if you want to go check this out, go ahead. I have my playlists all set up, so just go find it. Who is your favorite character in each of the Smash Bros. Games? My favorite character in all of them, actually, is Fox McCloud. Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U is, in fact, the only game where I don't have Fox as my main character. I tried having Fox, but it didn't work out as well for me in, you know, Smash Bros. For the Wii U. That's the only game where it's different. So, yeah, Fox. If you could make any game using any franchise and an amazing budget, what would it be? And it has to be believable. I found this to be an odd question, to be honest, and I might just be misunderstanding it. But they clarified it has to be believable. It can't be like a perfect virtual reality or that kind of thing. I'm like, why would you limit that? It seems like what this question is asking is, give me a storyline that you think is cool for a game, and I don't have a bloody storyline. I guess if I could just pick a game and be like, yeah, you good developers, you know, have someone write an awesome story for it, it would be another awesome Star Fox game. I think would have to be another awesome Star Fox game, or possibly another awesome Fire Emblem game that's similar to Fire Emblem and Sacred Stones, because I know there are other Fire Emblem games, but I haven't played them. Or another awesome Legend of Zelda game, but it would just be, that's all I can do. I can throw out franchises and be, you know, hey, make an awesome game out of this. I have no ideas for stories. If you were to not have that, it has to be believable thing, I would totally make Sword Art Online, you know, more or less. I would have that fantasy MMORPG where you could port yourself in and you could actually move, not like, you know, Wii U or the PlayStation Move or Xbox Connect, or I don't know what those things are called. But no, I mean like where you're literally in there through the magic of science, technology, and your mind kind of deal. And that's totally what I would do if you got rid of that believability clause. But with that, all I can say is a game that I like, make a good story. What activities, sports, hobbies, etc., they put in parentheses, do you enjoy to do or watch? I think I actually worded that differently at the end, and that's kind of awkward. Anyway, I don't play sports. I don't enjoy watching sports. I am not a sports guy. One person asked me why, and I'm just like, because I don't like it. I don't know why, I just don't like it. I think part of the reason is because I know I'm a competitive player, but I'm also not good at sports, and so it's frustrating to me. But, like, I'm pretty sure if I were better let's say basketball, I would enjoy basketball more, but I just don't because I'm not, and that kind of thing. I'm not willing to practice or anything like that. So I just don't like them. I don't care. Hobbies then, I draw on occasion, I write on occasion, and I roleplay a lot, whether on forums or like tabletop style roleplays online. I just got into a Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 game. I'm hoping to start a 5th edition with friends. I'm in a Star Wars Edge of the Empire game like pretty much every weekend. And then just with, you know, like a couple other friends one-on-one, we have a little kind of forum or Skype-based roleplays. So that's kind of fun. I mean, that's what I do. So those are my hobbies. Oh, and for those of you who remember from my previous Q&As about writing, I'm still kind of writing. And I'm trying to stress that T because it's not riding, you know, I'm not on a horse or anything. I'm still working on it, my story about the wolves. It's just like, I finished it, I just need to edit it, and I reached this one point where I'm like, I don't like how this worked out, but I can't figure out how to rewrite the scene better. So in case you guys wanted an update, it's kind of an update. Anyway, will you do a fan meetup soon? I have no plans to do that at all because I'm poor for one thing. I mean, I don't want to stress that because I don't want to make people feel bad or worry, but no, I don't have a lot of money. Like, Patreon has really helped me out. Thank you guys so much for that. Now I actually have like a bit of income every month that I can save. Because before that, everything that I earned from YouTube videos was going toward rent and food. But now I actually have a bit that I can save, and that was really good because shortly afterward, my external hard drive filled up. I had to buy a new one. It was $200, so like it's kind of costly. But no, I don't plan to have a fan meetup. Well, basically, I've never done one before, so the thought of organizing one's kind of intimidating and whatnot. And just the fact that, again, traveling is expensive, and, you know, like, or renting out a place to have a meetup is expensive, or even if it was just a park, or just things. So the answer to that is no. But if I do ever plan to have one, you guys will definitely hear about it, because that'd kind of be a waste not to tell you. Right, what's your favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game? And this one is also hard. I don't think I have a favorite. I might have favorites for certain reasons, but I don't think I have an all-around favorite. Five Nights at Freddy's 1. It was the original, it brought something new to the field, and I beat it. I'm done with it, so I don't have to touch it again. Those are all good reasons why it's a favorite. It was, you know, kind of like exploring new ground. It was original again at the time, and now I'm just done with it. I was able to beat it. It was hard, but I was able to accomplish it. Done with it now. The third one, it's the easiest so far, and I do kind of like that twist of it being like in a haunted house kind of thing. You're no longer security guard, haunted house. It's a new story. It was a new twist on it. It added more background and everything, but at the same time, the ways that you got to the mini games and everything, they're kind of so convoluted. You had to look up the guide to find out. Like, I don't know how people did it otherwise. But, you know, that was kind of one reason. Mostly that it's the easiest, even though I haven't beaten it yet. And then the fourth game. I'm not really going to give the second game a favorite, because I couldn't think of one. The fourth game is, I still think, the scariest so far. I really like how Scott had it be from the perspective of a child in a nightmare, more or less. Or maybe literally in a nightmare, I don't know. But it's just so freaky, you know, being in that kind of psyche and having it in the dark, you're alone. Things, you know, in the closet, down the hallway, you know, flashes of lightning. It was really well set up psychologically, I think. So, that's a weird answer to what's your favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game, but, you know, yeah, I have different reasons. I don't know how to end these, like, when I answer questions, just like, there you go! Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. How did your friends react when they found out you were a YouTuber? Oh, I actually remembered to ask one particular friend. I forgot to ask another one. I do remember the other one, though, they mentioned that they felt starstruck sometimes because, you know, YouTuber, and we've been friends for years, and so it was kind of cool. My other, best friend, he said, and I quote, because I wrote this down in a notepad, he said, "I thought it was awesome when I found out. It's proof that anyone anywhere can make their name known without needing a PhD from Harvard. LOL." So, thank you, Jared, for allowing me to to insert your quote to answer one of my questions. I'll admit, I don't have a lot of other close friends, so not a lot of people have really cared, but so, do you watch other Versus series besides Death Battle, things like Fatal Fiction or Cartoon Fight Club or things like that. 1 Minute Melee, Superpower Beatdown. No, I do not. I only watch Death Battle. Yeah, no. I'm trying to think if there were any more versus things that I have or I knew off the top of my head. No, I just watched Death Battle. Do you have a favorite SCP? And then the person was also like, do you even know what an SCP is? I do know what an SCP is. If you actually look back on my channel, I played a bit of SCP Containment Breach until it glitched and I got stuck on a level, like literally like a level, like a floor. And there was no way out. There weren't any monsters there to kill me as far as I knew because I wandered around for the longest time looking for one. But I just got stuck, and so I had to quit, and I didn't want to restart it. But it scared me. It scared me so bad. It was fun in a sense, but it's scary. I don't think I have a favorite, though. No. And I have been told a lot of stories about the wiki, the monsters on the wiki, instead of just in the game, from my youngest brother, because he was really into researching those. But I can't remember any enough to say that they're my favorite. My favorite would probably be one that's safe and really cute, because that's the kind of thing that I like. So yes. Thoughts on 1 Minute Melee? Oh, that's kind of fun. I mean, we skipped the SCP one, or that was in between, but we were just talking about other versus modes. So 1 Minute Melee seems fine to me. My favorite part of Death Battle is the analyses and really piecing together like reasoning for why one person would beat the other. But if you're just in it for a good time, if you want to see a cool animation of two fictional characters fighting each other to the death, it's an awesome series. So like I hold nothing against them. Do I prefer Death Battle? Obviously, because again, the analyses part. But I still think that 1 Minute Melee sounds like a good time, so I'm not going to give it any flack. Who would win in a fight, Sonic or Rainbow Dash? As cool as I think Rainbow Dash is, and as much as I love her, I think that Sonic would pretty easily win this. I think that the only thing Rainbow Dash has in her favor is that she can fly. But I don't know. I mean, I know Sonic can fly if he's hypersonic, if he has all the Chaos Emeralds, but even without that, I don't know about his durability upon landing, so if he were to go super fast and then jump kind of deal. But Rainbow Dash relies a lot more heavily upon her friends. I think that Sonic is faster. He's had a lot more combat experience, and I think that he has more combat kind of skills going for him. Sure, Rainbow Dash has her little rainbow explosions and everything, and the Buccaneer Blaze or wait, what was it? I don't care. Don't anyone say in the comments, because I know people are going to. But I do think Sonic would win. Oh, speaking of, who's your favorite Sonic character? That would have to be Tails. Miles Tails Prower. He's just always been cool to me. I like foxes. And just, you know, because of that, and because he's intelligent, and because I thought that he was comical, because he was that kind of, you know, smaller, weaker character, but I still got to see him, you know, achieve good things, Tails is my favorite. If you had to choose a new staple for your channel, what would it be? And if you didn't know, my current staple is Let's Play. I am a Let's Play channel, but if I had to have something else, what would it be? It would be Let's Talk, which is what I've already been doing a little bit on certain weekends, where if I find a series that I particularly like, or I guess particularly don't like, if that hasn't happened yet, then I will talk about it. It's like a really informal review, because I wouldn't say that I'm good enough or intelligent enough or nitpicky even enough to be a critic, you know, a reviewer. But I do like the opportunity to be able to just be like, yeah, whether or not this was a good movie or a good anime or whatever, I liked it, I didn't like it, here are bits I liked, here are bits I thought were weird or could use work on, this is how I would change it. I like being able to express my opinions in that way without having to be all, yeah, I'm official, you have to side with me. So Let's Talk would be my new staple. Alright, so I know that I covered could you let's watch questions at the very beginning of this, but I will answer this one a little bit. Could you let's watch Cartoon Fight Club? On top of needing, you know, like I said, I need interest, I need permission, and then I need, you know, viable means to do it or whatever. And permission, like, straight from the creators themselves, and with the promise that copyright won't be an issue kind of deal. And, but with Cartoon Fight Club, I received a lot of spam for it. And not just like one person asking, you know, on every other video, like, can you watch this or whatever. But on one of my videos, I think it was Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. I know it was that series, but I think specifically episode 23. I think it had a 3 in it, maybe it was 13, I don't know. But I was spammed on that. Like either someone with a bunch of different accounts or a bunch of different people, they were just posting on that video like, you know, watch Cartoon Fight Club, do it for your fans. And they were trying to guilt trip me, and they weren't even bloody subscribed, and I don't want to feel like I'm being used like that. And so, no, I'm not gonna watch Cartoon Fight Club. Like, if that was the creator's attempt to get me to watch it for the sake of publicity or whatever, it's a terrible move because now I have spite towards you. If it wasn't the creators, if it was just like some stupid fan or whatever, you really did, you know, the thing that you're a fan of a disservice, because now I have a negative look toward Cartoon Fight Club. It's why you don't spam people, don't harass people, be nice. Now that you live with Dart, is it possible that you could do Wii U Let's Plays, either by yourself or co-op with Dart? And like, I'd say yes, but I still don't have a good setup for a console, you know, playthrough. I don't have a means to record a console yet, so it's certainly more possible than it was now that I actually have the console, and now that I'm living with someone who I might, you know, Let's Play with. But there are still difficulties, you know. Like, I have a blank background here, and it's a nice confined space, and I have space for my lamps right there, and everything. It's just an all-around good setup. But if I were to be playing on a console with a TV, I don't know where I'd put my webcam. I don't have another camera, I only have the webcam. I don't know where I'd put lights. I don't know how we'd configure everything, and so there's still a lot of difficulties with console games, but it is more of a possibility now than it has ever been before. Would you collaborate with other Let's Players, and who would you like to play a game with? Yeah, I would on occasion collaborate with other Let's Players. I apologize, I don't mean that to say guys watching this comment or send me a message to collaborate. I'm not saying that, I apologize. I really am limited in what I do, and when I collaborate with people, it's usually just I play with them and then they post it on their channel. Like, I don't do anything with my channel kind of deal. But like, if you look at Angel Arts, he should be in my, if you go to my channel, they're like the people that I recommend or whatever. Angel Arts is one of them. He's a really good guy. He has about 6,000 subscribers right now, and you know, I've had fun with him. And right now we're playing Shrine 1 and Shrine 2 with another Let's Player. It's Jace. Again, they're both pretty small people, but they're good people. You should go check out that series if you want. On Twitter, I've linked it. I believe I linked part 1 on Facebook a while ago. So yeah, I have collaborated with some YouTubers, and I probably will continue in the future. As for who I'd like to play a game with, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because I would love to play a game with people, you know, like Markiplier or Tobuscus or whatever, but at the same time, I know that my Let's Play style doesn't exactly match their Let's Play style. They're really loud and over the top, and I'm not as much, you know? Like, I'm calmer. Even if I'm not exactly calm, I'm calmer. And my reaction's more subdued, and things like that. I'm not as silly, I want to say, I don't know. But those are the people that I would want to record with, and those are also the people that I don't think I'd really fit well with, so it's kind of tricky. Is there any particular death battle that you want? Not a particular death battle, but there are some characters that I kind of would like to see more than others, and those would be Kirito from Sword Art Online. Again, I've only seen the first arc, don't spoil anything for me. King Arthur from Fate Zero, because she was a BAMF, and Colin from Code Geass, because she was also a BAMF. So, those would be the 3 people right now that came to mind that I would want to see in a death battle, but I don't have particular, like, matchups in mind. Why is your voice so awesome? I don't know, I was born this way, I don't know. I'm glad you think that though, because a lot of people think that my voice is terribly annoying. Or maybe they're just being rude, because they're jealous or something, but I'm glad you like it, so thanks. Can you give us an apartment/house tour in the future? I could, but I mean, if I got my roommate's permission, I'd make sure of that first. But I don't know why you'd particularly want that. I live in a small house. My room is a mess. Well, the house is kind of a mess itself, actually. Like, it's kind of chaotic, and it's not, like, this looks really clean, again, because I made sure it was. It's a clear wall, so it's my background for recording. But throughout the house, you know, it's a house, you know? I don't see the reason, so yeah. Why do you upload so late at night? For those of you who don't know, I live in Utah, and the time that I aim to upload is midnight. Part of the reason is because that way it's easy for me to think, okay, I need to record this today so that tomorrow it'll be this video, you know, so I don't have to wake up early to record something or whatever. I can even in the evening be like, okay, now I need to record this. Another reason is because if something is uploaded at midnight, then for me it's like, all right, that video is up for the whole Tuesday. So if it's my Tuesday series game, it's like, yep, midnight, it's uploaded for all of Tuesday for everyone to see. And if that late upload time bothers you, I don't see why, just watch it when you wake up. You don't need to be the first person to watch the video, just like watch it when it's convenient for you. Don't mind when I upload it. and it'll all be great. Did you watch the Attack on Titan live action movie? The answer to that is no. I haven't watched Attack on Titan the animated series yet. The anime, you know. So there's no reason for me to watch the live action movie. Do I plan to watch the anime? Probably. But again, I want to get through other Let's Talks I have in mind first before I get to that one, because I'm pretty sure with that one, I'm gonna want to Let's Talk. So, we'll wait. Have you ever thought of trying to 100% a game, or play an RPG on your channel? RPG, I'd say more, yes. The issue with 100%ing a game, though, or playing an RPG, is the time that it takes. Because I only play... Like, I play one game twice a week on my channel because, you know, I have through Monday through Thursday, I have 2 different series going. So it's about like a half hour's worth of playtime every other day, or an hour's worth every week is a better way to think of it. And so when you have an RPG where it's like it takes 120 hours to complete, if I have 1 hour every week, that means that I'm gonna... Do you see what I mean? So... No, I haven't really, and that's why I've tried to stick with mostly smaller games, or why with things like Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, I don't plan on going all the way through. Because right now, I'm on episode like 35, I'm pretty sure, and I think I'll have 2 or 3 more before I actually finish it. And people are saying in the comments, oh, he's not even halfway done. And that's bad for me. I don't want a series that goes up to like 80 parts. That'll take me months longer to complete. And for the people who aren't enjoying that series, it just isn't enjoyable. I would like to have variety. And so that's why I haven't played RPGs. And as far as 100%ing games goes, the only ones I've really done with that were like Five Nights at Freddy's so far. And I might not even do that because they're so bloody hard. I did it with the first one. I tried with the second, and I've gotten pretty close, but, you know, and the third, but, you know, so I just don't want to have to put myself through that, to take all that extra time, go through that unnecessary stress for that little bit of accomplishment. Do I like being able to say that I completed such things? Of course, but the work to get there is a lot, so that's my answer. What equipment do you recommend for starting a YouTube channel? That is a really hard question considering I don't know that I have the best stuff. I don't know what kind of money situation you're in. I don't know what kind of YouTube channel you want to start because different channels have different requirements. So I'm just going to focus on basically what I went through having a Let's Play channel. I think that it's important to have good quality. In fact, mic quality, you know, sound quality. I think that's more important than video quality, as a matter of fact. And so I am using a Blue Yeti microphone. It's this beautiful baby right here. You know, I love it. I did have a silver one before, yeah, but it broke. I had to get another one. But the other one that I had was used, and so I'm not too worried. Like, this is a new one. It's working fine so far. And I'm using a Logitech C920 webcam. I don't know a good replacement for the webcam, but if the Yeti is too much for you, and I believe it's between like 90 to 120 bucks or something like that, there's also the Blue Snowball, which I believe I've heard is pretty equivalent as far as the sound quality goes, but it lacks some features. Like this one has, you know, a headphone jack, so you can just plug straight into the microphone, and that's what I do. The Snowball does not. This one has like 3 different settings on the back, you know, whether you're just talking straight into the front, whether we have one person here and then one person like behind it, as though like in an interview kind of situation, or you can record all around. So for Let's Playing, I use just the front one, which I think the Snowball, that's all it has, so that's pretty good. But yeah, if you're concerned about money but you still want a good microphone, I would look into getting the Blue Snowball, because again, I've heard good things about that. If it is comparable to this in terms of sound quality, obviously enough, you know how it sounds, so that's good. Again, sorry I don't have a really good replacement for the webcam because I didn't experiment too much. I bought 2 other webcams, but they just didn't work out in terms of lag. Then I found out that the Logitech C920 was fine, and this is like the first webcam I was pretty much recording with. There was one other, and it sucked. I would not recommend it, even to start with. Aside from that, I'm using Bandicam for my software. If you have the Logitech camera, it came with the software for it, or you can just go on their website and download software, so you don't have to worry about that. For editing software, I started out using Sony Vegas 12, I think. But then I found out that Sony Movie Studio, and I'm using Movie Studio Platinum 13 right now, is a lot cheaper, but it had like all of the effects and everything that I needed. So that has been it's so much cheaper. It was like, I think I got mine for 55 or so. And I would definitely look into that if you want editing software that covers the basics and everything. Because again, everything you've seen in my videos, You could do it with Sony Movie Studio 13. So yeah, good luck starting your channel. Have you ever played Animal Crossing, and would you ever Let's Play it? Again, I did mention, yeah, I have played Animal Crossing. It was a great time, you know, years back on the GameCube. Would I ever Let's Play it? I don't think I would ever Let's Play it, no, because of how open-ended it is. It doesn't have a clear objective, really, and you could say, oh, the objective could be when you pay off your house or something, but if I stopped at that point, people would get mad at me. They would. I know that from the history of comments. If I were to be live streaming, I think that would be a bit of a different story, where I might be able to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna play the Animal Crossing for a little bit, and you can watch if you want. I think that would be different, but as for Let's Playing, no, I don't see myself Let's Playing Animal Crossing. Which do you prefer, Android, Lollipop, or iOS 8? I've only experienced Android, so that's all I can say. Which took longer, 420 mode in the first Five Nights at Freddy's, or The Guy in I Wanna Be the Guy? Definitely The Guy. It took me about 5 hours to beat 420 mode. It took me 10 hours to beat The Guy. It pretty much took me, I'm pretty sure I beat the game Tomb Raider in 10 hours. So in the time it took me to beat the last boss and I Want to Be the Guy, I could have replayed Tomb Raider. And that was so bad. I'm so glad I'm done with that game. Are you part of the furry fandom, active or otherwise? Yes, I am. I do consider myself a furry. I don't like fursuit or yif or that kind of thing. I know a lot of furries are given like a really bad reputation from the media, or, you know, particular standout furries. But you know, we're not all bad. I say that. I have seen some terrible ones, trust me, but again, I consider myself a furry, and I don't think I'm a bad person, so hey, if that means anything. I consider myself a furry because I really appreciate anthropomorphic characters in art and in stories. I just find them interesting, you know. I find it cool that you can have, like in Star Fox, you know, Fox McCloud, walking, talking fox, that's just, and like not a lot of attention's even drawn to that point. It's just kind of that exotic sort of feature to the characters. It's, you know, and it's in all sorts of places. Again, I mentioned Star Fox, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, there's Crash Bandicoot, all sorts of Disney movies. You know, anthropomorphizing animals is nothing new, and it's not only for like mature themes. And I really like the art in the furry fandom, I guess. So yeah, I would say I'm a furry. When is your birthday? June 16th. What is your favorite creepypasta? And I assume you mean not like creepypasta game that I've played, but creepypasta overall. And to be fair, most of the creepypastas I know, in fact maybe all of them, are because of the games. I think my favorite would have to be either one of the Pokemon creepypastas that I've encountered, or Slender Man, which might not be too original, but you know, I'm not a big fan of like scary things, and so it's really just what do I find more interesting, or what do I have kind of like nostalgic attachment to. And so it'd either be one of the Pokemon ones, like Pokemon Black, I think, with the Ghost, or Slender Man. Has there ever been a game you wanted to play but couldn't due to time constraints, technical difficulties, or just bad luck? Yeah. In fact, last Christmas, Dart and we played and recorded Mario Kart Double Dash, and it was a great time, but sadly, it was like one of the first times we were trying to record a console game, and that's why I say I'm still not ready, like comfortable with it yet, because the recording was totally botched. It was corrupted somehow. Like it kept lagging and then skipping, and I couldn't possibly sync it up with the webcam, so I just had to scrap it, and it was sad because we had a lot of fun together. Again, Mario Kart Double Dash, I love that game. That's another one I should add to GameCube, but that was more like, we did enjoy it back then because we rented it, and then, you know, more recently we bought it, and it's a lot of fun. That's a great game. That's the only racing game I enjoy, Mario Kart games, particularly Double Dash. What else was I saying? Oh, other games, time constraints or whatever. Time constraints covers a lot of things, because again, otherwise I'd play like role-play games and RPGs. But because of time, how long they would take and how little time exists on my channel or whatnot, because I don't want to post like, oh, here's my 2-hour video of, you know, Final Fantasy VII or whatever. It would be a lot of work for me to have to like put them out at that rate to be like consistent with it. And I don't think you guys would want to sit through 2-hour chunks at a time. Even if you did, again, it would be too much work for me, so don't even start saying that. Longer games would have to be for like live streaming, I think. And there have been a couple other games. I at one point was going to play Amnesia: The Dark Descent, but the game lagged for me at the beginning, so I scrapped it. Like, I didn't play far at all. I just scrapped it early on because I'm like, oh, this isn't working out. And then I believe it's called Dread Out, another horror game. involving like cameras or whatever. That one also lagged at the beginning, and so I scrapped it. Not that I would necessarily want to go back to that one. I might go back to Amnesia sometime because I've upgraded my computer since then. But I don't know. So just a few games that I really like encountered difficulties and had to quit them, or things like that. Should Shaquille O'Neal be in Super Smash Bros. 4 because of Shaq Fu? I would say no. I mean, if enough people vote for him, sure. But I'd rather another video game character. Not anyone in particular. I guess to help out people like Max a Few Trades, I would vote for Shantae from like Shantae and the Pirate's Curse or games like that. I've never played any myself, but she seems like a decent character. I don't want to offend anyone by saying decent character, but again, I've never played it, so how am I supposed to know? But, you know, I'd rather it be another legitimate video game character that people love, you know, to make their day rather than have a joke character like Shakin. What Nintendo game would you want to be made into a movie? I think Fire Emblem would be really cool to be made into a movie, if they did it right. Of course, you know, with video games turned into movies, there are all sorts of ways you can do it wrong. And I do think it would be kind of a challenge because Fire Emblem is such a strategy-based game, but I think that enough of the, like, all of the story is in the cutscenes, and so I feel like they could translate that reasonably well onto a script, onto a screen, you know. And, you know, as far as the strategy goes, it just, you know, if you include cool war scenes using real tactics and strategies, because, you know, there are many different ways to beat a level in Fire Emblem, so as long as you were, like, legitimate about it, I think that it could be really cool. And having that kind of fantasy theme with the, you know, awesome, memorable characters like Matthew and Guy and things like that, that'd be great. So that'd be my vote. You wear that hat all the time, this one. Is it glued to your head, or perhaps magically bonded to your skull? No, it's not. The answer to why I wear my hat all the time is typically, I like to look as good as I can, you know? And sometimes I take shortcuts, or, you know, and not to say that I have to dress formally all the time, like this, you know, it's super casual, it's a white t-shirt with a jacket. But I like to look good, and I think this looks pretty nice. And recently, my hair has started thinning, like I'm gradually going bald is the thing, and so, to look better and to kind of boost my esteem, yeah, I wear a hat, because I think it looks good, and I really prefer it over the alternative. So there it is. How do you record DS gameplay? For this one, I guess, hold on. I'll just show you. So this is my 3DS for recording. This is my 3DS just for playing on my own, like traveling or whatnot. And again, if you look at the backs of the 3DSs, you know, this is original, and this one has this modification, this attachment on the bottom. So, you know, like the bottom case here, the panel was screwed off, and then things were done on the inside, and this was added to it. This allows a micro USB, and the game I still have in here is Mystery Dungeon, so yeah. Has a micro USB slot, and so you just connect it to the computer, and with the software that came with the attachment, it shows up on the screen. Pretty much how it would look if you were to emulate a DS game. You know, where it's like both screens are just one right on top of the other. Yeah, so the modification though, I warn you, is very expensive. It cost me like $350. And that was I sent in my 3DS. So I bought a 3DS and then I sent it in along with $350 or whatever the cost was. It was around there. I know at least 300. And then it was sent back with this attached. So it's not cheap. Again, first you have to already have or purchase 3DS, and then you send it in for the price of like 2 used 3DSs. It's not cheap in the slightest. But that's how I do it. I will put a link right here to actually show the site where I got mine done. It's from a guy who currently lives in Salt Lake City, actually. That was just coincidence. But that's where I got it. I think there's one other site, but this is where I got it. I think it's just 3dscapture.com. Again, trust the link that I'm putting here. Don't trust links in the comments. If there's a legitimate link that I want you guys to see, I'll put it in my description or on my videos. Don't trust comments. But yeah, so there you go. That's how I can record things from my 3DS. Who is your favorite Mario character? And my first thought was to say like, oh, Yoshi or Luigi. But then I thought, no, actually, I think my favorite Mario characters are from like Paper Mario. People like Cooper or Colorado or people like those. Parakarry was fun. You know, the little Yoshi that you get in, you know, Thousand Year Door. There are a lot of good characters in that. I think Paper Mario had a lot more time to really explore different characters. So I really liked that. And I've heard good things about the like Super Mario RPG, which I own, but I've never played. It's somewhere hanging over there. I have like all my SNES games just like hanging on the closet door. But I'd say those kinds of characters. What do you think of Belgium? Have you ever been there? No, I've never been there. I don't really know anything about Belgium, so I don't really have an opinion about Belgium. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. It's Belgium. And that's not saying anything bad. That's just saying I've never been outside the US even, so I don't know any other countries. Sorry. I'd like to travel, I just haven't been able to afford it yet in my lifetime. I would love to travel. So if I ever get money, I'm definitely gonna go places. What Nintendo game are you excited for this year? And again, that would be the new Star Fox 1, which I think is called Star Fox Zero. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. I haven't seen the trailer for it yet. It's just the fact that it's another Star Fox game. That's not Star Fox Command. Because I didn't really like Command. It was a fine game. I just didn't like all of the, like the art style was kind of creepy to me. I didn't like all of the stories, even though again they're not canon stories, but I still didn't like the endings to them. It was just kind of odd. Anyway, would you be interested in reviewing the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Reviewing, no, because I talked about how I don't consider myself a real critic or a reviewer, but let's talking about the movie? Yeah, I could do that. That would be fun, I think. I think that'd be fun. If you could be in any game, what would it be? And that would be Pokemon. And I don't think I really have a specific game that I would want to be in regarding Pokemon. I just think that if I could be in any game, I would want to be in a game where I could be awesome just as a regular, just as me, you know, just as a regular guy. And with Pokemon, what makes it so cool is that they're just pets, they're friends, you know, they're like the cool thing about Pokemon is the fact that Pokemon exist. It doesn't really have anything to do with the people. And so if I could go into a world where I could just explore and have fun, and that would be my adventure, it would be awesome. So Pokemon all the way. If you were to receive a warning that people have been disappearing in your neighborhood without a trace, and people would hear screams and loud noises during the night, and then in the morning they would find out that another house has been broken into with the entire family or the owner missing, what precautions would you take? That was a long question. They gave me like a TLDR kind of question at the end, but I thought I'd get the whole thing. Basically, I would take my valuables, or, you know, like sentimental or real valuables, whatever. I'd lock up the house, and I would go away for a while. You know, until things calm down, I wouldn't want to stick around that neighborhood. I would, you know, go to a family's place, or stay with a friend in another city or something. But if I thought that that was a serious threat, and even people who were taking precautions inside their homes seemed to be running into trouble, I wouldn't want to stick around until things calm down a bit. Will you watch more death battles with Dart? Again, my older brother, he appeared in Wolverine vs. Raiden, Darth Vader vs. Doom. He's awesome. So will I watch more with him? Sure. I don't see why not. Again, it's just a matter of like, he doesn't care so much about most of the characters, and he doesn't, you know, like I'm willing to sit through any death battle even if I don't know the characters at all. He would rather have some kind of attachment or knowledge base about the characters. You know, he doesn't want to go into it blind the same way that I do. So if he's interested in a particular matchup or a particular character in a death battle, then yeah, I'll ask him about it. And, you know, maybe he'll appear more, but I'm not going to force him to. Where can I get a copy of the news article? And if you're not sure what that means, I have them in my closet. I don't want to get up to get them. You can see them in the thumbnail for my my Q&A announcement video or my 50k subs video, same thing. But you'll see the bit of it in the thumbnail. Then if you actually watch that, I read a little bit of the article. And unfortunately, to answer your question, that was a local release. It was released for my city. And at this point, it's out of print. It only lasted a week, as the title of the paper called, you know, City Weekly. So I don't think that you can get it anymore, or if you can get it, I don't know how, so I apologize. What is the coolest weapon you've learned about on Death Battle? There have been a lot of cool weapons on Death Battle, whether you're talking about Spawn's chains, or if you're gonna count Guts' armor, or things like that, you know, if you want Raiden's sword even, the vibrating one. But to me, even if it's not the most powerful, and there could be other ones that I would like even more that are just slipping my mind right now. But the one that comes to mind is Ivy's whip sword. Because, you know, whips are cool, swords can be cool, a whip sword is awesome, you know? So I'm going with that one. What's it like living in Utah? I think it's always hard to answer those questions because it's like, well, I haven't experienced a ton else. It's like living in other places. I don't know, like the weather changes all the time in Utah. It can be, you know, like really cold one day and then really hot the next day, or even within the same day, it can be sunny and hot and then it can rain and snow. It can be really windy all of a sudden for no good reason and then just stop. So, you know, cold winters, but not as cold as some places. Hot summers, but not as hot as some places. It's dry here because Utah's a desert. But, you know, it's like, it's okay living here. I don't mind it. How did your friends react when they found out you were a brony? They reacted pretty well. Again, yeah, they were surprised and I was teased a bit, but, you know, whatever, they're fine with it. It was kind of funny though, because, you know, I found out that I liked the show over Christmas break. So when I came back to school, I went up to my best friend and I'm like, yeah, I started watching a show that you're gonna be kind of surprised by. And he's all, oh my gosh, me too. And for a second I'm like, oh, did he start watching My Little Pony at the same time? What a coincidence! No, it turns out he had started watching Friends. Which I haven't, you know, watched. I've seen some episodes, but I haven't watched. But it was funny that, like, we had the same kind of... Anyway. So, you know, they were fine with it. They thought it was weird. Most of them still think it is weird, but, you know, they've accepted it. And, you know, again, I've never really been bullied. A little teasing now and then, but it's nothing. What is your favorite game character based on... Ooh, I read that weird. What is your favorite game character based on only their powers? And, again, I think that's an odd question. Based on only their powers? In that case, I'm just gonna tell you powers that I like. I like time manipulation, I like telekinesis, teleportation's cool, that kind of stuff. I don't know why you'd pick a character based only on their powers. That seems so shallow. What do you think about Nintendo's new console codename, NX? I don't really care, it's a console code name. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. The thing that I think is weird is that also in the comment, you mentioned how there's a rumor there's no disk drive. That's a much more interesting question. Like, what do you think about the rumor that there's no disk drive? So about that, I think it's odd. I don't know how they're gonna do it otherwise. Are they gonna be like full download, so you have to be connected to the internet? That sounds like it'll suck. I'd rather there be a way, like, I'm fine if there are gonna be, you know, like downloads, like the eShop, like they have now. But having it strictly be that kind of thing seems like a bad move to me, which I could just be missing something, you know, missing insight or whatever, not thinking of something right now. But I think that it's kind of weird to ditch your disk drive. That's how, like, all the consoles are doing it right now, and it seemed to work well. Discs hold a lot of memory, so I don't know why you'd switch. Do you ever plan on growing a mustache? No. No, goodness, no, never. Have you seen my Let's Watch Death Battle Fox vs. Bucky? If you haven't seen that, go look at that. I have a mustache in that one. It's so bad. Who is your favorite superhero? I'm gonna have to go with Spider-Man. He's intelligent, he's funny, I like his powers, especially if you're going to look at Amazing Spider-Man like the movies. Oh, Spider-Man's so cool. Which Pokemon would you like to see on Death Battle? I didn't really have a particular desire to see any other Pokemon on Death Battle. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing another one, but I didn't want to see another one, like, in particular. But for Dart's sake, Mr. Mime! If you could be a bender from the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe, which element would you bend? Why? I would be an earthbender all the way. I think earthbending is the coolest kind of bending. I think that's, you know, one of the big reasons I like Toph is because she earthbends and she's so bloody good at it. I think earthbending is really cool. I just think it is. Of course, there's earth all around, so you'd like never be in limited supply unless, of course, you were locked in a metal box or something. But then if you're as awesome as Toph, you can find a way around that. I just really like the thought of earthbending. There's so much power involved in it, and it's so cool. What is your preference in entertainment? Which is another odd question, I thought. So I split it up a little bit. Movies, I tend to prefer action movies. Games, I tend to prefer RPGs or FPSs. And books, I tend to prefer fantasy. Not that I really read books anymore, but yeah. I mean, it's like all of the books that I would care to write, like the book that I'm writing now. You know, I had like 2 other ideas for books. They were all fantasy. So I prefer fantasy, not like high fantasy where, you know, living in the woods and there are elves and dwarves and stuff, but, you know, more like powers kind of thing. How can you have such a calm demeanor when everything else is plagued with hatred and rage? I think a lot of it is a matter of just knowing what to care about, and I don't mean that in like an apathetic sort of way, but, you know, there are certain fights that you should fight and certain things that you should just back off from. I can't read the news actually, because not because I see something and I'm like, oh, that's terrible, but because I'll see people complain about things and I'm just like, guys, shut up. You're making the world a bad place. All of these people complaining about every little thing. This person said this person did this. Why are you wearing that? Just stop it. Like, I hate all of the needless complaints that we have in this world. So I choose which battles to fight. I choose what I care about, what's important to care about, and what's not. And so a lot of it is I don't involve myself. And, you know, if you just put yourself in the right space, then you're gonna be in a better mood. That's what I think. What is your least favorite death battle? For a while, I was planning on saying Goomba versus Koopa because I thought that the battle itself was kind of drawn out. There wasn't a ton that you could do with those minions, and I think that it should have just been a shorter battle, but instead, you know, Ben pressed on and he made it longer, and unnecessarily so. I did think it had a funny ending, but, you know, yeah. But I think that I would actually have to say my least favorite was Akuma versus Shang. And I pulled that from memory, so if I got Shang Tsung's name or whatever wrong, I apologize. But I think it, obviously enough, being the second, I'm pretty sure this was the second death battle. The second death battle, it had the worst animation, aside maybe from Boba Fett versus Samus Aran, but that was remade, so I'm not going to count that, you know? So Akuma versus Shang, it was, you know, it was the weakest in terms of animation. They hadn't yet developed their characters as, you know, Wiz and Boomstick, so there were more awkward moments within it. And it was an early development episode is what it was. And so while I'm saying it's my least favorite, that's not saying that I hate it. It's just saying that, you know, it wasn't the best. It was far from the best episode. So that's my answer. Is Riz Grestar your real name? No, it's not. My real name is Dean Richards. Riz Grestar was a name that I created when I was, I think, 11 years old. Well, first I created the name Riz Yug, which if you look at it backwards is Sir Guy. I created it for a Star Wars game on the Xbox. Oh, I own an Xbox, by the way. To answer a previous question, Knights of the Old Republic would be my favorite on that one, I believe. Anyway, or Star Wars Battlefront 2? Was that Xbox One or 360 only? I think it was Xbox One. No, not Xbox One, just the original Xbox, I'm sorry. Yeah, anyway, back to this question, which I told her, Riz Yug, right. So I made it my Star Wars character's name because my big brother made this cool Star Wars name, and I wanted to match him kind of deal, you know? So I picked a name, flipped it around, thought it sounded exotic, I went with it. Later on, I went on the internet and I found a Star Fox forum where someone was advertising a roleplay, and I had never been in a roleplay before, but it was like, oh, play out a Star Fox-esque story with your own character? That sounds great, so I made a character. I kept the name Riz, but I didn't like Yug so much. Yug, you know, Y-U-G, it's weird. So instead, I created the last name Grestar using favorite color, green. What is it for? And what's my favorite, you know, game series at the time? Star Fox Grestar. That's how I made it. So Riz Grestar. And then because, you know, I was again 11, 12 years old, at the time, you know, my mom was really protective of me on the internet and everything. And as you shouldn't do, you know, you shouldn't share real vital information about yourself. You just shouldn't. You know, the internet can be a scary place, so just be careful. And so I just went around the internet referring to myself as Riz Grestar. I used my character's name as my own kind of persona. And I made my YouTube account back then too, 2007. And I didn't, it was just, you know, for commenting, for favoriting videos, that kind of thing. I didn't plan on being a YouTuber. I didn't know that you could do that, even though I'm watching other people do that kind of deal. So I had the name Riz Grestar. And then, of course, when I started making Let's Play videos, I didn't make a new account for it because I didn't really think it would go anywhere. I just started posting on the YouTube channel that I'd always had. And so Riz Grestar has stuck. That's who I am on this channel. Just because, really, I was playing it safe on the internet as a little kid. So, yeah, the name doesn't really mean anything backwards, or not backwards, but you know, it came from Sir Guy. I flipped it around to Riz Yug, and then I changed the last name for Green Star Fox, basically. What inspires you to be so cheerful? Oh, it's a bit redundant after the other question, but I didn't catch it. So, same kind of thing, knowing what battles to fight, knowing what's really important, what you should care about, what you shouldn't, when to just back off. And, you know, just what to expose yourself to. I know that, you know, I have my issues, of course. You know, I have low self-esteem in some areas, better self-esteem in other areas, that kind of deal. And it's just you know, I surround myself with good, caring people, you know, my family, my friends, that kind of deal. So I have a good support basis for sure. I just know that there's a lot for me to be grateful for. And, you know, like this channel, for instance, you know, I'm really grateful for it, for you supportive fans. So, yeah. Are you an alien? What would you consider to be your favorite childhood game? And because it was phrased in that manner, favorite childhood game, I'm going to say Star Fox 64. Because while it might not have been my favorite childhood game, it definitely, like, inspired most of what made my childhood great, in my opinion. Because, you know, that game, it inspired things that I would shout Star Fox 64 quotes on the playground. Like I'm pretty sure at one point in the game, Fox says, like, sorry to Jet, but I'm in a hurry. And then, you know, and so then he zooms off, and I would say that, and then, like, jump off, you know, the big toy, the playground kind of deal, and it was just so weird. And then with my friends, we would play, like, live action Star Fox, using our own characters, and mixing all these other games. And so just the inspiration that it was to, like, be able to use my imagination and to play games with my friends and everything, Star Fox 64. And then Star Fox Assault, if we're just going to consider the franchise as a whole, again, I already talked about how fun Star Fox Assault was, but I had a great time with that. We played all sorts of different game modes, and it was just all around. It made my childhood better, Star Fox did, so thank you. From any of the games that you've played, which lady would you most like to take on a date? And I think that I would have to go with Molly from The Walking Dead Season 1. I don't know why, I just like those kinds of girls. It's not great because their personalities don't mesh well with mine, I'm pretty sure. But honestly, yeah, I found Molly attractive. I found her to be a fun character in terms of her personality. Yeah, and then honestly, my second choice, if not Molly, would be Jane from Walking Dead Season 2. So it just goes to show, like, this is probably why I'm single. Well, I mean, there are plenty of reasons why I'm single, but that's probably one reason. I'm gonna move on now to most embarrassing moment in life. Oh, this is a terrible way to transition. This is hard too, because I want to avoid, like, gross things. Because I mean, like, not that I care so much, but, you know, there are some gross things involving bodily fluids or whatnot that are very embarrassing, but that I wouldn't want to talk about on my YouTube channel. Not that I mind so much as that I don't want other people to feel uncomfortable kind of stuff. So maybe I should just leave it at that. What's your favorite animated film and why? And I swear at one point, just randomly, you know, like a time ago, you know, between these Q&A videos, this one and the last one, an animated movie hit me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I loved that movie. Why didn't I talk about that one before? But I couldn't think of it now. So I'll say things like Lion King, Mulan, those were great animated movies. And then, like, on this other spectrum, Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children, it was so cool. So, you know, like, just genuine good story, really cool action. You know, there are a lot of good animated movies out there, some that I'm obviously neglecting to mention. Hey, look! Have you seen the Equestria Girls movie series? I mean, not that they're my favorite animated movies, but I did really enjoy the first one. So, I've seen the first Equestria Girls. I haven't yet seen the second one. I plan to watch it, because apparently, I just learned today that apparently the third Equestria Girls movie is coming out, like, within a couple weeks or something. I saw on Facebook someone messaged, like, hey, when are we gonna see this? Like, in a group chat kind of deal. But yeah, I've seen the first one. I have the second one, plan on watching it soonish, but I don't, again, I want to get other Let's Talks out of the way, because I might Let's Talk that one, I don't know. Yeah, I liked the first one, and I'm looking forward to seeing the second one. I hope they didn't mess it up, you know, I hope they didn't focus on gimmicks, and yeah. If you could have the perfect house constructed for you, how would you want it? Honestly, I don't want, like, a mansion or anything. I would like a spacious house. I would like a bigger room than the one I have right now, because right now it's really cramped. My monitors fell asleep again. Okay, so I have, like, my computers here, obviously, like, right up against the wall. And then I have, like, this little pathway out here with my dresser and my closet right there. And then there's the door to go out, and then there's my bed. Like, there's enough space for me to stand between my desk and my bed, otherwise wall to wall. So there's not a lot of room in here. I would actually like to have a bedroom apart from, like, my recording place. I would love to have, like, my own little studio where I could, you know, not worry about it being too loud for my roommates or anything, where lighting wouldn't be a big issue, that kind of stuff. So really, I don't have a lot of solid, I would want this, and I would want this, and I would want this. You know, I would like a bigger room. I would like a separate room for recording. I would like a bigger bathroom. My bathroom here is tiny. I would like doors with actual locks on them, things like that. So I don't feel that's super picky. It's also not super specific, and I know that. I apologize, but I just don't know really what I want. Oh, hey, look, this is the last question. This is what we're gonna end on, guys. This is the big thing. Do you swear in real life? And the answer to that, don't freak out, is kind of. Obviously enough, I don't swear on my channel. The worst things I've said are, I'm not even gonna say it because then people will give me flack for it, and so I'm not gonna talk about that. But no, I don't swear on my channel, and I would say I don't swear in real life either, but there are exceptions. I swear if I'm absolutely alone. So if I'm in the car driving by myself and I'm singing along to music, I will swear, you know, with the words or whatever. Or if I'm alone and, you know, like someone cuts me off and I almost crash, yeah, I'll swear to myself kind of thing. So, because I kind of feel like swearing, like if it's not bothering anyone else, I personally am fine with it. I just don't want to like infect society kind of deal, you know? I don't want that negativity to bleed out into society, but if it's just me, then I don't care. Or also, if I'm acting, then I can see how swearing would be okay. Like if I were to be a voice actor and my character were to have a specific line, yeah, because it's the character saying it, it's not me saying it, you know what I mean? So those are my exceptions. Do I swear around my friends or my family or around even strangers? No. Just if it's only me, if no one else would be able to hear me, yes. Alright, so that was my Q&A. This recording, as I'm looking at it right now, has been going for 2 hours and 7 minutes and 43 seconds right now. Yeah, this has been a long section. It's definitely going to be split up, and so I don't know I'm talking about that because you won't know that until you're watching the second part, or the third part, or whatever. But, you know, if you guys have actually stuck around, if you watched the entire Q&A, you know, thank you. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot about me. And, yeah, I look forward to continuing with this YouTube channel. I don't know if I will have another Q&A when I reach 75,000 or 100,000, but those are my 2 new milestones. Thanks for caring enough to ask questions, and thanks for caring enough again to stick around. Yeah, if you're commenting on this video, then I'm just going to assume that you watched it all, and I don't really have anything else to add. Thank you guys for sticking around. You know, love you. Pleasure to have you. Keep being nice. Let's build a good community, and we're calling it here. So with all that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, of course, feel free to like, comment, if you're new, even subscribe. It means a lot. It really helps me out, and I would love to have you guys. So, tune in next time for my next video. Until then, take care. Cue outro, go!